gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back. Good to be here on well, after the Socceroos advanced to the final 32 of the group stage for the knockout in the World Cup, played at Santa Clara, where the 49ers are actually from. So I am used to seeing that stadium watching the Niners. But yeah, Team Australia, the Socceroos, not doing so great. I mean, they had an entire game and they didn't really do much. They didn't really do a lot. That was somewhat embarrassing for, you know, you had 80 minutes or 90 minutes and a crowd full of Australians. Like there was so many Australians up there and didn't really get a lot done. It was hectic how many Aussies are in the Bay Area for some reason. I don't know if they traveled or they live out there or they live in California, but there was thousands of them marching towards the stadium in San Francisco. But 0-0. Some people might describe it as the most boring game in the World Cup. Well, yeah, I might think it is the most boring game as well. It was a lot of nothing. So, hey, good to see you guys. Hey, hey, good to see all of you. All right. Yeah. Hey, good to have you here. Hey, good to see you all. Good to be back. Um, I have some updates with this woman here. This woman was murdered by her son. A couple of weeks ago, she had met up with her son because her son wanted to borrow money. During this sort of meet up with her son, I'm guessing what happened is she said no, and he became quite violent, ended up what they think is stabbing the mum to death, and then taking her body out west of Sydney and dumping her in the Blue Mountains. They had been searching for her body for a couple of weeks, and just on the 21st, they were able to find her remains. So about a week ago, but it only became public today. Why? I'm not sure. Don't know what's with the delay of about a week, but it is good to finally have that news that they have been able to find her. Her name is Sandra, and here's her photo here. Let me put this up on the big screen for you. There's her photo for you. Killed by her own son over money. Son wanted to borrow money. His name is Ante, and their last name is Popovic. He's 34, she's 58, and a sad ending to her life where her son, because she wouldn't lend him money, killed his mom in like a super violent way, pulling a knife on her and then stabbing her to death. I mean, that's just, for all your mum has done for you throughout your life, and that's the way you repay her love, care, helping you out, bringing you into this world. You stab her to death and then dump her body in bushland, meaning her body had been out there for so long, even though it is winter, that decomposition process would have got underway. There's no open casket. There's no saying goodbye to her. The family will never get that final goodbye because of his actions. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you except for very sad. Um, I don't know. There's no details about how much or what that conversation. I don't think we're going to find out until the court gets underway. I think that's what will happen there. So I don't know. Sorry about that. I can't tell you because it's not public, and probably won't find out until they produce a brief of evidence for the court. And I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one as of yet. So he's in jail. Other than that, I don't know. I wish I could tell you, but I don't. I don't know, unfortunately. So it'll become public at some point, but you guys know what it's like with Australian court cases. Everything just goes really quiet until we get to the actual trial, and then a lot more information will come out. So we probably won't find out exactly what that circumstances of that fight was. Just that there were text messages saying that they were supposed to meet up to discuss this loan of money between them. So yeah. Hey, good to see you guys. Everyone's getting in. Hey, Pamela. Hey, Lynn. How are you? Hey, Kathy. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. You're getting up to 100 degrees in Tennessee next week. You guys are definitely in the middle of summertime, aren't you? Right in time for the 4th of July weekend. You guys are really getting up in those temperatures. While as you guys are getting close to 100, it is getting closer to 0 degrees here. 0 degrees. It's been really cold all week. All week it's been very, very cold here. So, but opposite sides of the world. Opposite sides. Hey Missy, how are you? Good to see you. So there's your update with the Popovic family and what has been going on with Ante and trying to find his mom. I I mean it's a good result. Tracking down where he put her body, I think we're happy with that. Uh I think the fact is that it should never have got to that. From what I understand, that mum had supported her son for years, and she had sort of cut him off and was saying like, "Hey, you're a big boy now. You can look after yourself. You don't need mum lending you money, and you need to be able to find your own way in life." And he was very unimpressed with that. Tried to borrow more money off her, and when she said no, he decided to kill her. So terrible, 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 terrible. Not what I was hoping. Not what I was hoping for, anyway. Kathy said, "Have you talked about the earthquakes?" I saw what was going on. Yeah, I haven't talked about it, but I have seen it. It looks pretty bad over there. The fact that they had these double earthquakes, what was it like? One was like a 7.1 and one was like a 7.5. Um, it's that's horrifying what's going on in that country. They look like they're in for a hell of a rebuilding effort, like a crazy rebuilding effort. I was trying to find out if I could show you some of the photos. I heard that like a lot of their communications are down because of the damage. So the videos and photos coming out are very slow. So we might have to wait some time until we hear more. I've seen a little bit of coverage here and there, but yeah, back to back 7.0s. I mean, you get one and that's enough. And I think, hey, I'll try to find the photos for you. Earthquake. Let me see if I can find some of those photos because it's crazy. Like multi-story parking garages are like flattened, and you go, really? Just nothing left, and it looks like it's going to take a long time to rebuild. Yeah, look at this. I'll show you. Yeah. Like, that's some of the damage that and it's not just one place, it's everywhere all over there. So, they're gonna have a hell of a rebuilding effort. I don't know how long that's gonna take, probably decades to clear out all this stuff, rebuild, get people back in housing, all that type of thing. It's really sad. It's, these some of these countries have been through enough. Yeah. Let me have a look. Um Lynn said, "The photos and videos are horrifying." I saw one of like that multi-story, um, like garage that had collapsed on itself, and there were people in there. There were actual like people going about their day, and just crushed. I hope they find people. What is it up to now? At least 235 people are dead. There was an estimate yesterday saying it could be as high as 100,000 people total. I hope it's not 100,000 people. That would make it a catastrophe, like one of the largest in recent memory to have 100,000 people die in a natural disaster like that. I hope that's not true. But they were saying like maybe the low scale would be 10,000 people. That's a lot of people to have die in a natural disaster. We don't even get that like when we have like a major hurricane or tornado or something like that. 10,000 people snuffed out like in a moment. So I can't remember ever seeing a like back-to-back earthquakes like that. There you go, there's another one. I remember in Japan when they had the Japan earthquake and then tsunami, there were other earthquakes that happened afterwards, but I don't remember them happening so quickly. This one was like a 7 and then a 7.5, like, within a short amount of time, and I think that's probably what attributed to a lot of the damage. Look at that, that is an apartment building that is missing half of the building. So you can see into everyone's apartments, and obviously that's not livable anymore. Lynn said, "What really gets me is there are still people in there trapped and alive." Yes, there is. There is. So here, let me try find some better stuff on it because it is pretty bad. What are they saying now? Over 4,000 injured is what they believe, but officially they're saying over 1,800 people officially, but they believe that number to be much higher. Like, look at this. Look at this apartment block. It's like it looks like it's going to fall down at any moment. Look at the cracks through the actual floor of it. It's actually got, like, huge chunks of it missing. This whole thing may have to be knocked down because it's probably not stable at all. There's heaps of them, like, it's never ending. There's thousands of photos. Here, let me have a look. I wanna see if I can find that one of that parking garage because it was really just Venezuela. Really, really, devastating. Yeah, when you think that we're gonna have sort of a quiet year and we're not gonna have any sort of, like, massive worldwide events, and then you get this. Alright, let me have a look. I'd love to show you that photo because it was the one that I thought I saw it and went, "Okay, this is not gonna be over within a day." Because we've had some big earthquakes recently, and they're like, "Oh, it's like a 7.0," and then there's a couple of buildings damaged, but everything is okay. This one just seems way worse. It seems like there's a lot more damage, a lot more people that need help. Let me see. Is that it there? Yeah. Like, I think that was a parking garage or maybe an apartment complex, but that's what's left of it. That's what you can't even tell what that was really, can you? It was some sort of structure, some sort of building. What it was, don't know. So those people in Venezuela, I hope they're going to be okay and find all the people. There's apparently what they believe still missing today or unreported or they can't find them. They reckon there's over 5,000 people are officially that they can't find. And again, they reckon that number's, much higher because, there's people that they just don't, there's people that are not on the records or they're not reported. There's another set of wreckage where people are trying to find survivors and try and get people. It's really brutal. Lynn said, "Yeah, there's more people alive." I hope not. Sweeney said, "When I was 3 or 4, earthquakes when I lived in Seattle." Yeah. Hey, Jules, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. I don't know. I don't know why the Earth is collapsing. I guess that being that our planet is ever moving on the tectonic plates, there is always friction between all the plates around the world because it's not a solid structure. It's always moving. So you always get movement, and all it takes is movement to happen in the wrong place, and you get massive earthquakes or something like that, like tsunami, underwater earthquake. There's been some large underwater earthquakes off the Pacific Northwest in America. Over the last like couple of months, there's been some really big ones underwater. Now they haven't produced a tsunami or anything, but it just shows you that volcanic action has continued. Japan also, yeah. Luckily, we've not seen anything like what happened in 2011. That one in 2011 was unbelievable to watch. I can tell you, I remember coming home, turning on the TV and seeing all the banners, and they were like, there was this, you know, once in a millennia earthquake in Japan, and we were watching the helicopter that was flying off the coast of, I can't remember which prefecture it was, but they were flying over the water, keeping an eye on the tsunami coming in. And as it came into shore, it just took everything with it. There were people running, there were people in cars, they were trying to get away from the water. One of the pivotal things I think I've ever witnessed in my life was watching that earthquake come in. Marlene said, "Is that in the Ring of Fire?" I would think so. I would think Venezuela would be in the Ring of Fire. Hold on. Venezuela. You know, it goes all through the Pacific. I would think so. Oh, okay. It says oh, okay. It's not, but it's not too far away from it either. So the Ring of Fire is in the Pacific, and it sort of goes from the west coast of California down into South America, and then on the other side, it comes through Asia and then northern parts of Oceania, so like through Indonesia, and then down through New Zealand. Yeah. There's the Ring of Fire and where it operates. So mostly in the Pacific Ocean, and you can see like Australia also is out of harm's way. We get very few big earthquakes here. Like the biggest I've seen in Melbourne was like a 4.0 that happened about 5 years ago. There was a 4.0 earthquake here, and you know, it was a big deal because we never get them here. But yeah, you can see all the countries and where they happen on the map. Hey SP Mama, how are you? A missing Australian lady in Las Vegas? I'll have a look in a second. Gail said, yeah, good to see you guys. Good to see you. Jules said in 2010, 310,000 in Haiti. That was a bad one too. Sweeney said, your first thought is I'm going to die. Well, I don't want anyone to die. I don't want anyone to have to go through this, but you could imagine being trapped in this. You got concrete, rebar, like metal. You can't get out yourself. You need people to help you, and you could be trapped in there for a long time. So hopefully they're still pulling out survivors right now. Yeah, let me check. What was the latest thing on search and rescue? So 3 hours ago, Ligera, in the coastal community of Ligera, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, probably not. They're saying a massive search and rescue operation is underway across the country, with many people still trapped in debris. And they're saying here they tried to rescue someone whose fingers they could see wiggling under the rubble of a collapsed building, but they have not been managed to get that person out. That is horrifying. To be able to see a human but not be able to get to them is that would be nightmare inducing for those people. Here, there's a video here, like a flyover. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause it. The quality is terrible, but it might be because they can't get a lot of video out because of the cell phone towers are down. But you can see like most buildings are damaged. I know it's poor quality, but you can see a lot of those tall buildings. Look at that. That used to be someone's home or apartment. Jeez. A lot of high rises too, like a lot of like really tall structures. Look at that. That was a pool. And the pool's like draping over a cliff. Crazy. I don't know, guys. I hope they find everyone. Let's see. Airport is tore up too. Yeah, it's not good. Um, hey, Cali girl, how are you, my friend? They live in storm drain tunnels? Who? The mole people? Who are you talking about? The mole people in Vegas? They live, well, people have died that way. They've had unprecedented rains in Vegas, and the people that live in those tunnels, the rain, like the accumulation of water happens in minutes. They haven't been able to get out, and they've flooded those tunnels, and people have died. People have drowned trying to live in those tunnels in Las Vegas. It's happened several times because most of the time Las Vegas is dry. There's not a lot of rain. Then they get these massive rain events, and these people who are living in those underground areas pass away and drown. Not what we want. Um, Lynn said, so many tall buildings pancaked. Well, yeah, in that video, I know it's really poor quality, but there was that. Where's that one we saw? Look at that. That's some sort of apartment complex that is now flat on the ground. And let's go here. There's this one that looks like literally a bomb went off. And there's a pool. This was a swimming pool, and it is now draped over a cliff. It looks like a landslide has happened, and it has fallen down here. It's just brutal. Yeah, let's see if we can find a better, like something that's got some clarity to it. Let's have a look. I mean, how unlucky do you have to be to get two earthquakes, 7.5 and 7.2, hit like that? Yeah, I'm gonna take you out to KTLA 5 in Los Angeles, and they have an update.
At least 188 people are dead and thousands are missing after a pair of strong earthquakes rocked Venezuela. These 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude quakes caused widespread devastation, and rescue efforts are now underway.
KTLA's Karine Winter joins us from the News Center with the very latest. Karine.
Well, rescue teams are trying to save as many victims as they can. Take a look at these live pictures right now from that devastated region in Venezuela. Wide-scale destruction. Officials say they're working as quickly as possible, using every resource to find those alive or dead. A desperate search for survivors in a debris field of rubble and destruction.
The ground was shaking very, very hard. Walls were coming down. Parts of, cracks were appearing in the front of the buildings. Everyone was terrified.
The aftermath of two deadly and powerful earthquakes that rocked northern Venezuela Wednesday evening. Officials warning that number will rise significantly.
In any earthquake scenario, We know that early information is unreliable and is only a partial glimpse into the full impact of the event. It's hard to access areas, communications are down, many people are still trapped under the rubble.
A 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes that destroyed this area are reportedly the strongest to hit Venezuela in more than a century. A desperate search on the ground today with hundreds of people injured and thousands still missing across the country. One of the most devastated locations, La Guaira, an area north of the Caracas capital.
An earthquake just shook the entire building.
You know what's even sadder? This country, Venezuela, a very proud nation of people, but they have been through some really hard economic times over the last decade or so, or even longer. But these people are not like, if this happened in America, there would be a lot of displaced people, but there's also a lot of people that have some money. They have some backup, they have some friends, they can move at the other side of the country, whatever. The people of Venezuela don't have a lot of money. A lot of them are people who are economically quite poor. And to try and recover after something like this and then ask their government to step in, pay for housing, pay for medical, pay for anything is a luxury a lot of people in Western countries take for granted. But I think in Venezuela, it's going to be a harder sort of journey back to normality for these people. It's not like if it happened in Australia or London or even like the US, the recovery efforts would be swift, fast, billions of dollars would be poured into it to make it happen as soon as possible. These countries are not as lucky, and they will rely on other countries to come and help them. And I know Australia is sending people. I know the US are sending people, and a lot of European nations are also sending help. So let's hope that help gets there in time. I hope so. Kathy, I'm sorry you had a fall, my friend. I hope you're okay. Yeah, you didn't tell me this. You should have emailed me, my friend. Should have told me. Let's see. Hey Jesse, how are you, my friend? Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. We'll have a look at that one in a second. Let's look at the earthquake thingy, and then we'll go and have a look at that one. Um, yeah, terrible. The recovery efforts for this in Venezuela will be for years. They're saying here the tremors measured now, I think they're saying it's a 7.2 and a 7.5. They're saying it could be between 10,000 and 100,000 people dead. I hope that's not true. And they're saying Venezuelan authorities was saying 32 were already dead and 700. I think that figure of dead is up to like in the hundreds now. I think it's close to 300. This is old reporting. The US said the USA stands ready, willing, and able to help, and that President Trump has instructed all agencies of the government to get ready to move quickly, and that we will be there for our new and great friends. Early reports are not good. No, early reports are not good. They seem to be many people missing and many people still under the rubble, trapped. It's not good over there. So I hope we get all our countries to send help and we get people. I don't even know. I don't even know where you take them to other parts of the country, to other countries. I don't know. I don't know how you help that many people. It is going to be a massive recovery effort for those people for sure. Let's have a look. I just want to see if there's another photo I can show you. Look at this. They had to transport people on the back of trucks to try and get them to a hospital. This poor lady looks really beat up. You can see her hands are very injured and her legs are blood stained. Whether that's her blood or someone else's, I don't know. But that poor lady being taken to help on the back of a truck and what looks like to be a door. They have used a door as a makeshift trolley to get her onto that truck. All good. You just recover, my friend. I hope you're gonna be okay. Um, Jill said, just like Haiti had earthquakes, hurricanes, and floods. Yeah, they copped it for a few years, didn't they? They had the hurricane and they had the earthquake at the same time. Not good. Um, all right. What? Okay, let's keep going, guys. All right, you guys want to keep going with this Las Vegas woman first before we talk about the teacher? Okay, I can have a look. Let's see. Sally Grace Contarino, and they're saying Vegas police launch a appeal to try and find her. They're saying she failed to board her flight home. And this is coming from, it's weird, it's not making a lot of news in Australia right now. It's no one's really talking about it here. Here's a photo of her. Let's see what they're saying. They're saying a young Australian woman is missing in America after failing to board her flight back home. She's 26 years old and from Melbourne, so my hometown, and disappeared while holidaying in the US. Her family desperately trying to gather information about her whereabouts. She last contacted her family on June 20, just one day before she was due to fly back, but has not been seen or heard from since. That's interesting that she would have contacted her family one day beforehand. Do we have any information on what was said in that conversation? Here, they got like a missing person poster. There you go. There's the case number. 26 female. All hospitals are asked to check their registries for the missing person and notify police immediately. And what else? Very little details about her. I would have liked to have had more details about her. Like what was said in that final talk with her family. Here, I'm gonna go to the Herald and see if they have anything. They're saying Sally Grace was reported missing by her concerned loved ones. She was due to fly home on June 21st. She's from Lyndhurst in Melbourne. One day before she was expected to land in back home. They said the last photo she shared from her trip was from Charleston, 60 kilometers east of Las Vegas. Where is that? Even I don't know where that is. Oh, Mount Charleston. Okay, where is that? Let's have a look. Mount Charleston. Is it in the Mojave? It's a stunning alpine getaway located in Spring Mountains, just 35 to 40 miles northwest of Las Vegas. And they're saying that it offers skiing in the winter and hiking in the summer. It's 11,900 feet at the summit, and it is known as Sky Island. Okay. It sounds like it's a pretty mountainous terrain. You would think if she was hiking out here, though, that people would know that she was out there, like tour guides or accommodation, that type of thing. There's the mountains for you. Yeah, I find that strange. Was she staying with anyone? Was there accommodation that they can contact to see if they last saw her? Anything like that? Was she staying with friends? Yeah, let's have a look. Let me try one other. Not a lot of new information, but it does say here that she was traveling through the US alone and was not traveling with anyone else. That's strange. That she just one day before departure. I hope she hasn't gone hiking or something and like had an accident or because the fact that she was still in contact with her family on June 20 obviously told them that she was heading home and then never got to the airport. Well, guys, I am a little freaked out at why she would not turn back up at her airport. Yeah, let me have a look here. Las Vegas. Let's see. So her family's saying that she may have been in Nevada or California because they're so close together, they border on each other. That makes sense. So there is a local group that are trying to like raise awareness for her. They are sort of like a expats group and locals of Las Vegas that talk about the area on Facebook. They are trying to sort of get people to talk about her. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to check why they think it's California and not Nevada. Okay, so that image on your screen that we had before, that is that final photo that she sent to family or posted online. This one right here. This is of her at the mountain range. Yeah, just not a lot of other information really. Local hospitals have been put on alert and were urged to check their records in case anyone had been admitted. Victoria police are not aware of her disappearance, and the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade have been contacted, but at this point in time have not released a statement on the missing Australian woman. I don't know why Victoria police would be aware of it. She didn't go missing in Australia, so that sounds right. And the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade is sort of like our foreign correspondent. They talk to other nations. So if something goes wrong, you can go through DFAT, and DFAT will often get consular assistance for people. That is what DFAT is used for. So the fact that they're not putting out a public statement right now is interesting because normally they'd say, we're aware of reports that there is a missing person of Australian nationality in Las Vegas. We are working with consular, X, Y, and Z to try and confirm details. But so far, they have not done that. Let me have a look. So she was only reported missing to Las Vegas Metro about 13, 14 hours ago. And that is why they have made the post. So apparently Sally checked out of the bungalow's hostel on the 20th. She also spent time on the mountains hiking around Mount Charleston, Lone Mountain during her US trip. She also spent some time at Palm Springs and hiked at Indian Canyons. There you go. People are jumping to conclusions and saying Las Vegas is known for human trafficking. Yeah, that's like saying everywhere is known for human trafficking. You would have to provide some sort of better proof than someone went missing to start tying human trafficking to it. Attempt to locate. So yeah, it just says here if you have any information, Las Vegas Metro wants you to call 702-828-3111 and use the reference number that was on the post that we had before. Where is it? This one here. This one. So you guys see this number up the top? It's the one that starts with the case number LLV2 606 000 83886. That one. They want you to use that one if you're making a report on her. I don't know what to tell you, except for seems like she spent a lot of her time at different wilderness type areas, like not city locations, more like in the countryside, hiking, visiting different areas, Palm Springs, Mount Charleston, and those other hiking locations that we told you. Let's see. We're gonna have to just keep an eye on it. If I get more information, I'll let you know, and I'll put it on one of my alert things that I do for different cases, so we can keep in touch with it. But so far, it's weird. There's like not a lot of media, not a lot of media covering it. I was trying to see if there was anything in Las Vegas, like in the actual in Nevada. But right now, it sort of hasn't hit the papers. One Australian newspaper ran an article on it, and that's it. Yeah, no. I don't see literally any. What's this? Is this a news article? Yeah, that's not a reporter. I cannot find a local news outlet that has anything. Look, I hope they find this young woman and that she makes it home. Hopefully, she's just sort of gone off course and decided to spend an extra week hiking somewhere, and she's not in cell range, and that she will come back out and into and then be like, why is everyone being mean to me? Like, why is everyone looking for me? I'm just hiking out here. Hopefully, it's just a misunderstanding and that she'll be okay. Age 26, it's on the paper right there. Um, Cash says, why by herself though? I think females traveling on their own has become like a big thing over the last 10 to 20 years. A lot of young women want to travel on their own solo because one, they don't want to, either they don't have a boyfriend or a partner, could be female or male, but they don't want the chains of having an extra person with them that will dictate what they can and can't do. So female solo traveling has become like a big thing. And a lot of women do it. A lot of women really like it. They like the freedom to choose their own path as they're traveling, and it's pretty common now. All her stuff, then she may be out hiking then. If she left all of her belongings, then maybe left it. What's the hostel? What is that the one? Hold on. Let me check the comments. They're struggling to ping her Australian phone. I would have to know the details of that. Like, why does she not have an American phone? Because what most Australians do when they go overseas, they'll have a dual SIM phone and they'll have a Australian SIM card with international roaming. But then when they get to the country that they're going to, they will get a local SIM card, like a prepaid card, and then they'll put in that second SIM card and run it over there. Let me have a look. What was the hostel called? I saw it mentioned before. I can't remember if I read it or you guys posted it. Jess said, Sister mentioned she had struggled with depression and alcohol use, but Vegas was sort of her happy place. Hmm, it's a bit odd. Let me have a look. I want to know how far away that hostel was. SP Mom said, I heard it's hard or near impossible to track out of country phones. Yeah, it is because of the way they connect to the network. So the way they connect when they're using global roaming is a different way. It's not a different way as such, but because it's not a localized carrier, it's not like you just go to AT&T and call AT&T and say, "Hey, we need to track this phone." It doesn't work that way. Global roaming works on a sharing basis between the telephone companies. It's almost like an agreement. Hey, we're from Australia. Our phones may be in your region. Can you please allow access to that? We'll pay you a fee based on X, Y, and Z. So a lot of the times it's a lot harder to track those phones. Yeah. Uh, let's have a look here. Let me have a look. I just want to see what that hostel was called. I swear to God, I just read it out. Good work, Ping. Yeah. Did we actually read it out? Maybe I didn't. Here. Bungalows Hostel on the 20th. All right. Let's have a look. Where is that? Las Vegas, Nevada. Yep. Let me have a look here. That is in the Boulevard. Is that the right one? The Bungalows Hostel? That's downtown. Maybe there's another one that's rural. Okay. If that's the right one, that one's in 1236 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's it's ages away. Yeah, I'm just gonna check on the map. Just wanted to see how far of a distance it was. It's like, yeah, if that's the right one, it's right downtown. It's like nowhere near that other location if it's the same one. Hmm. It almost like suggests that she was heading home, right? If she was heading back into the city, instead of being out, you know, where she was hiking or whatever. If that was the bungalow, it doesn't look like the nice. I hope that's the right one. If someone can confirm if that's the right one or not. She was robbed of her passport twice in Paris. That's not uncommon. The amount of pickpocketing and bag taking in Paris is like off the charts. It's like a well-known thing. Let's see. Yeah, this one doesn't look great. I don't know why you would stay here. Like the one I'm seeing in downtown LV, it looks very run down. If that's the same one, it looks very like something you would see in like uh, something you would see in some of these movies and things like that. This looks very sort of, yeah. Let me go here. Maybe it's different in person. Let's have a look. I hope that's not the place she was staying. That place looks run down and old, really old. And it looks like it's in a really weird part of town too, like real skeevy. I can't show it to you because it won't let me put it up on the screen, but I hope that's not the right one. Um, yeah, I would agree with you that, well, anywhere is dangerous, but Las Vegas has some areas that are known to be pretty bad. God, this chat is driving me mental. Kelly said some of these hostels are pretty icky and dangerous. The one that I just looked at was like seriously, like something out of like a one of those movies where you see like drug dealers. Okay, not that bad, but not great either. Although they look like they've been sort of renovated at some point. Okay. It looks nicer than the map view. When you're on the map, it looks like at one point this place was really run down. Like it looked like it'd been sitting there since the 1950s and no one had done anything. But this looks like someone has bought it and maybe done some renovation to it. It looks nice. Um, it's got like, the typical foosball and pool and can't remember what this thing is called, but it's got the lawn games type thing. Looks like it's made for backpackers and people like traveling on a budget, that type of thing. So, but it is in like downtown. So, Kim said, "I'd never stay at a hostel." Why? A lot of them are good. I mean, a lot of them are good, especially if you're a young person traveling on a budget. Some of them even have rooms where you can stay by yourself. Yeah, you don't have to stay with like other people. If you pay a little bit more per night, you can have a small room where you're like secure. Um, Kelly said that's the Photoshop version looks like. Yeah, the one on the map looks different. I'm telling you, it looks a lot different. Kelly said, I'm pretty sure that hostel was on a YouTube video I watched. Ping, really? I hope not. I hope it wasn't. But yeah, at one point it was not. It did not look like that. It was like from like the 1950s and had no renovation done for a period of time. It is in a yeah. I would say it's not in an unsafe area of LV. I mean, I've been to Las Vegas before, but like anywhere, you got to have your wits about you anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in LA, if you're in Dallas, if you're in Florida, there's always places, especially when you're just slightly off the beaten path. You can run into some interesting characters. But I would have thought with so much housing down here across the other side of the road, there's a Thunderbird boutique motel and a Super 8. And then I think next door to that, there's the Desert Star Motel, the Sin City Hostel, and then a third one, which is a Viva Las Vegas Entertainment Center. So there's like a lot of housing right there. I would figure with so many people around, you'd probably be all right. And then the little white chapel next door. So I'd figure you'd be okay, being that you got so many other people around you. If something went wrong, there's people that would see it. There's cameras, and I would think, what do you call it? Love bags? I don't know if I'd call it a love bag. Cornhole, right? Cornhole. That's what they call it. Look, I hope this young lady gets home, comes back to where I live. I live in Melbourne. I hope she makes it back to her family in Melbourne, Australia. I Yeah, it's always concerning when one of our own goes missing overseas. It's not something that, we ever really want. We want our young people to go travel the world. We want them to make it home, and It it's concerning that you could go missing in a town like that and not turn up on the radar of authorities, police, a hospital, someone with a reporting obligation. Yeah, it's concerning that if they found her belongings, I have a lot of questions. Ping has a lot of questions about circumstances, and unfortunately, I don't have the answers to them. Sweet said, I searched for LV hostels and got a pic of an EMT vehicle pulling up to one. What? Let me see. LV. Let me see. I don't know if I can replicate your picture. It doesn't do it for me, but it's concerning that it did it for you. I don't see the one with the EMT pulling up nearby, unfortunately. But like when you look at this here, like I would figure at nighttime there's like a lot going on. Like this type of thing. There's probably like different parties, and there's people, and there's events going on. I would figure that a lot of them would have that type of thing, especially during summer. And there'd be a lot of like backpackers and you know people traveling the world, like this type of thing. You have a lot of general areas where people hang out, eat food. I wonder if anyone at that hostel saw her, met her, or remembers her. That if I'm the authorities, that's the first place I'm going, is to go talk to the hostel and ask them, is there anyone staying here? Can we track them down? Can we talk to people who are staying here at the same time as her? Yeah. Look, I will keep an eye out for this one, and hopefully we don't have to do a follow-up because she will have been found and put back on a flight back to Melbourne, Australia. Maybe she just wanted to hang out some more. Maybe she got caught up hiking or at a excursion. Maybe she was heading out to some rural part of Nevada and got caught up. I mean, it happens. I don't want to think the worst has happened to anyone. So let's hope it's something, just a mistake or something like that. Let's keep the hope alive. Let's see. Hey, Sean, how are you? Sean said, I felt safe for 12 days in Vegas except for the strumpets bugging me. You mean the other ones, the ones that have things? Let's see. Jesse said, playing cornhole on a wine tour for my grandma's 85th birthday. My Sicilian grandma kicked my butt at cornhole. Yeah, because they have that other game that's very similar to cornhole. It's called bocce ball. Like a lot of Italians, a lot of Europeans play bocce ball, and bocce ball is not that dissimilar from cornhole. And if they're normally very good at it, so yeah, of course, your grandma kicked your butt. She's been playing bocce ball for like 45, 50 years of her life. Lisa said, "Remember the one whose dad died and she was fine?" You mean Kobayashi, the Hawaiian girl? Yeah, she's an American, though. She's from America, even if she is from Hawaii. This is slightly different. This girl is Australian and not from the US. Police have the CCTV of her returning the evening before. Well, that's weird. You say she returned the evening before and then her stuff was in her room? That doesn't make any sense. Where would she have gone then? Yeah, that is more weird. Thanks for telling me that. That is more strange. Because I could understand if she never returned, like she's gone off somewhere and got caught up. But if she returned and then her stuff is still there and it never got taken, okay, that's more concerning now. Um, hmm, concerning. I'm glad you guys told me about it because it is not making the media down here. No one is talking about this case down in Australia. It's not on any of the news articles. It's not in any of the mainstream news in here. Not in Melbourne, where she's from. Like if I'll go to the Age. Hold on. Age. Yeah, let me go to the Age, which is one of the premier papers, like newspapers for Melbourne. Let's see if we can find her at all. Let's go down the page. Where would it be? Under crime? Maybe under travel? Maybe under travel. I do not see an article for a missing woman out of Las Vegas in The Age. So The Age is like one of the big papers in Melbourne. It's one of the ones there's only two. There's the Herald and The Age. They are the two big daily sort of newspaper companies in Melbourne. Here, let's check their top 10 viewed today. Anything about a missing woman? No. Nothing on The Age about a missing woman in Las Vegas. Normally, the papers would definitely cover something like this, but okay, let's check the Herald. All right, let's see. A lot about the Socceroos and a lot about the Socceroos game that happened like an hour. The Herald does have an article about her. Okay, one newspaper. This might be the article we read before, actually. Let's have a look. It is. It is the article that we read before. Fears grow for young Melbourne woman missing in the US after she failed to board a flight home. This is the only Melbourne paper that is running a story on her right now. And it's got a very big lack of details. It basically, everything in this could have been like a paragraph. They're saying here, Miss Contarino's family confirmed to the Herald Sun that she was traveling alone and was last seen in the Mount Charleston area of Nevada. They have not heard from the Lyndhurst woman since June 20, one day before she was expected to land, and are now seeking information regarding her well-being and location. That's it. Yeah, very, very few details. And that is the only paper covering it. I find that weird. If I was the family, I would want everyone to be covering it and to be like looking out for my daughter. But no article on the Daily Mail either, which is like sort of one of the more worldwide papers, has a lot of American viewers, has a lot of Australian viewers, and from the UK. Nothing on there. All right. I will keep an eye on it, guys. If we get some, I'm hoping for good news for the family. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, let's hope that this is all a misunderstanding and that she's going to make it home. Apparently they did, Gayla. In the article, it says that they spoke to the family here. Miss Contarino's family confirmed to the Herald Sun, so they did talk to the family, but they didn't provide any more details except for the bare minimum. Just the bare minimum reporting. And it says the LVMPD has opened a missing person case seeking the public's assistance in finding Miss Contarino. Yeah, I will tell you more if I get it, but that's it. Lauren's Jessie said her sisters Amy and Lauren are trying to get all the help. If you know them, put them in touch with me, and I'll have them on the show because I'm a local to Melbourne, and I am involved in a lot of the media down here. So send them my way, and I'll have a chat with them and try to get them some more coverage and try and make more people aware of their family member being missing. Unfortunately, I don't know them and they haven't talked to me. So yeah, if anyone has their contact details, pass it on, or pass them in my direction, and I will have them on, and we can try and drum up some more publicity, especially down here in Melbourne, because there's a lot of people in Melbourne that have connections to the US, and maybe that'll help somehow, in some way. Because there's just piss all reporting on it right now. Very thin reporting, considering this woman's been missing for almost a week. Almost a week. If she was last talked to her family on the 20th, it's the 25th or the 26th, depending where you are. Yeah, they're very busy. They don't have time to tell me. Yeah, okay. I don't. If they have time, they are very busy at the moment. I don't like bothering them because they have a lot to deal with. All right. All right. I want to move on. I want to talk about the teacher. Okay. I want to talk about the teacher, Maris Nichols. Now, we've spoken about her before. She's a very bad lady, or accused of being a very bad lady. She has done some very crazy things, including crossing the line as a teacher in a sexual way. That's what she's accused of. But while on home arrest, they are accusing her of breaking her bail 85 times. How do you break your bail conditions 85 times? Anyway, she is now back in custody, but I got some more details for you. All right, here we go. I want to, because one of the favorite subjects on this channel is teachers doing the wrong thing. That's what we like to talk about, especially this big new thing about female teachers. And we've spoken about Maris Nichols before. Prosecutors Prosecutors want the bond of Georgia teacher Maris Nichols revoked after she allegedly violated house arrest conditions dozens of times. I've heard that they have now revoked that. Nichols is accused of having sex with multiple students. According to the reported motion, Nichols allegedly violated her bond conditions 85 times. How do you do that? How do you violate your bond conditions that many times? They're saying Maris Nichols, a 25-year-old teacher at Alexander High School in Douglasville, Georgia, was first arrested in May and charged with sexual assault by a person with basically being in a supervisor or disciplinary authority. Nichols is accused of having sex with different students on more than one occasion, including once in a school closet and another time at a golf course in the back seat of a student's car. That is crazy. It just seems like anywhere and everywhere would do for this woman. Um, it's crazy. They're saying they're trying to revoke her bond, and they would like her to be in custody now because she's shown she can't abide by her bail conditions. She is awaiting trial on multiple charges. Almost 30 charges have arisen from the investigation into her conduct. They're saying a Douglas County magistrate granted her a $40,000 bond with several conditions, including orders to stay away from the alleged victim, avoid Alexander High School, and have no contact with minors who are not blood relatives, undergo a mental health evaluation, wear an electronic monitoring device, and remain on house arrest except for approved activities such as work, church, medical appointments, attorney's visits, and court appearances. Investigators continued examining evidence after Nichols' release and later obtained additional warrants. She was arrested for a second time on May 20 after investigators alleged they uncovered additional criminal conduct. She now faces multiple charges, including 8 additional counts of improper sexual conduct by an employee or agent, 4 counts of grooming a minor for sexual offenses, and 2 counts of child molestation, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. Sorry, that was a lot to read. The following day, a second magistrate judge approved an additional $74,000 bond while ordering Nichols to continue complying with all previously imposed restrictions. The new bond conditions also prohibit direct or indirect contact with any victims, barred contact with any minors except her 6-year-old daughter, and prohibited internet access and required a psychosexual evaluation. According to prosecutors, electronic monitoring records obtained by Talatrix, the company supervising Nichols' movements, showed repeated violations of those restrictions. The motion states that during a 27-day monitoring period, Nichols allegedly committed 38 home curfew violations and 47 inclusion zone violations. Prosecutors wrote that Nichols repeatedly traveled to locations outside the activities authorized by the court, including retail stores and fast food restaurants. Ugh, that was a lot to read. This woman has been busy. So she's also been charged with 27 counts relating to her conduct at this school with all these different school kids. Yeah, I'm going to show you a video and hopefully it'll enlighten the situation.
New developments now in the case of a Douglas County teacher accused of sex crimes involving students.
That's right. So tonight, prosecutors said that they want her bond revoked. And this is the latest case against Alexander High School teacher Maris Nichols. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn has been following the case against Nichols from the very beginning. He joins us live now from Douglas County, the courthouse there. So, Cody, why do prosecutors say they want to send her back behind bars?
Well, Ron and Jennifer, what was supposed to be a hearing here Monday for a judge to decide if she might lighten up the bond restrictions for Maris Nichols could actually end up putting her back behind bars. That's because new court filings, prosecutors say that Nichols has repeatedly violated the conditions of her bond. Now, as we have been reporting, she was first arrested back in May. She was initially charged with 2 counts of improper sexual contact by an educator. Now, a judge allowed her to post bond. She was ordered to wear an electronic monitor. She was also placed on house arrest. Court records show she could only leave her home for approved reasons. Those include work, church, court appearances, attorney visits, and medical appointments. But now prosecutors say that the monitoring records tell a very different story. They allege Nichols committed 38 curfew violations and 47 inclusion zone violations. That's 85 total violations in just 27 days since she's been out on bond. Prosecutors allege that she wasn't going to doctor's visits. They say she was going to fast food restaurants. She was also going to other places like.
No Chick-fil-A for her. No Chick-fil-A. None. You're not allowed any. The court says that you can't head to the fast food restaurants because there might be teenagers there, so you can't go. You might have sex with them in a closet. This woman is pathetic. You know, we read about some very pathetic people on this channel. This 25-year-old might be, you know, up there with some of the worst. 25-year-old teacher, she gets out on bond. That bond is like 40 grand. That's not a small amount of money. And she has a raft of restrictions. So she just decides, oh, I'll do what I want, which explains some of her offending too. The type of person you see out on bail, it basically explains what happened with her offending. She would know the laws being a teacher and just in society in general that you cannot go and have a sexual relationship with a child. Yet she just did whatever she wanted, not with one child, but with multiple. Then she gets arrested for it. They put her out on bond, and within 27 days, she has almost 85 breakages of that bond condition. It is like this woman is a danger not only to herself, but to society, really. Shown that she can't follow rules, shown that she can't even follow very basic requirements from the court. You know, the courts hate this type of thing. One of the things in court is they want you to show that you can follow their directions. And if you can show to the court that you can follow their directions, you get a lot more leeway with them because they go, okay, well, we can trust you, so we'll help you out. But when you do things like this and you start breaking the curfew violations, you start heading to places you know you're not allowed to go, judges get very upset very quickly. They don't like it. They think you're wasting their time. And in their opinion, you're making a mockery of their judgment because they gave you a chance. And then when you break it so, you know, without thought, like she did, they will eventually come back to bite you in the ass later on. And they're saying here previous court filings claim that Nichols made a female student watch 50 Shades of Grey. She is also accused of sending text messages to male students allegedly saying she liked to be choked, screamed at, slapped, and whipped during sexual encounters. That is definitely the type of SMSs that we all expect from teachers. That is like no one is trying to yuck your yum, right? That's if you like that type of thing, that's okay. You're a consenting adult. It's not okay when you're trying to tell young people that people underage, people that you have a duty of care at a school. I can't imagine a teacher would ever say words like that to a student. that you want to be choked, slapped, and basically disrespected during sexual encounters. She is a weird piece of work that she would do this to kids, kids in her control. Um, they're saying here it was previously reported that search warrants which reveal claims that students discovered Nichols' OnlyFans account and allegedly threatened to expose the account if they didn't receive better grades at school. So not only that, not only was she having sex with students and sending them sexually explicit messages, she was also posting things on OnlyFans. It is yeah, if it wasn't true, you would think that someone was making it up. She is a strange lady. The fact that she would undertake a teaching position to do this.
Retail stores that were violations of that bond. Those were not approved locations she could go to. They also argue that, these violations are concerning because this case, these victims are minors and they were her students, which that's alleged by investigators. Prosecutors now argue she cannot be trusted to follow court orders and they want her returned to the Douglas County Jail. All of this comes after the investigation grew from two initial charges where the DA alleges she had sex with a student in a classroom closet at Alexander High School and a second time in a driveway of a home. Since then, that second student has come forward alleging he had sex with Nichols as well. Her charges include grooming, child molestation, improper sexual contact, and tampering with evidence. So there's going to be two arguments on Monday morning at this courthouse. Her defense team are going to say, we want to lighten these restrictions. The state's going to come back and say, look, she has violated her conditions of her bond over and over. They want her thrown back in jail until her trial. So it's going to be a very interesting morning here. Maris Nichols will walk in these doors, but a judge will decide if she's taken back out in handcuffs and put in the Douglas County Detention Center. We'll be here Monday morning, and we'll let you know what happens. Live in Douglasville, Coach.
They have to revoke her bond. There is no other way. This woman has shown that she cannot abide by the court orders. I don't know how they would ever give back her bond because you break it that many times, the court can't trust you anymore. So apparently, she'll appear in the Superior Court on Monday for a bond motions hearing following an alleged conditions violation allegation. She's a former biology teacher, and that she will still be facing those 27 counts involving alleged sexual misconduct with a student and child exploitation. And yeah, it's wild that she would just do this. Even I just don't get these people. I don't get it. Is it someone who never moved on with their life? Is she a young person? Like 25 is pretty young. Is she a young person who never sort of moved on from that high school era? Now we've seen that before with young ladies where they seem to in high school they were like the queen of high school, right? And they were like, the favorite person and part of the cool kids club, but they never sort of move on after they graduate high school. They just sort of never launch into adult life and they still think everything is high school. And we've seen that before. There was another woman in Florida who pretended to be a homeschooled student to hang around high school boys. She also had sexual misconduct with high school uh, age boys, and they basically put that down to her almost like a failure to launch in life. Like she was still trapped in her teenage high school years. And I wonder if there's something similar going on here. Either that or she's actually just a deviant pervert, basically. She's just a predator. That's what it is. One I think it was Chipmunk. I think it was Chipmunk. Someone in the chat sent me a video, and it was a very interesting sort of comedy video. and it was explaining why we're seeing these type of cases with women come up a lot lately. And it was saying that a lot of these women had been sort of manipulated by TV shows over the last 20 years, including one of the biggest being Dawson's Creek, where Pacey in Dawson's Creek has a relationship as a underage person with a 35-year-old woman. And this person was explaining to me that maybe there's a lot of girls that grew up idolizing this sort of thing and thinking it's okay. And during the TV show, this 35-year-old woman has sex with Pacey and they carry on a sexual relationship during the show. And it's made to seem like it's all okay and it's all very romantic. And I wonder if that idealism is part of what we're seeing today with some of these offending. I don't know, but it's an interesting viewpoint that it's been in a lot of like female centric TV shows over the last 20 years or so. I can't remember who I know the person who sent it to me, but they always send it under their real name and I can't remember what their real chat name is, and I think it's Chipmunk, but I could be very wrong that it's not it's not her, it's someone else from the chat. Oh, it was SP Mama. Sorry, my friend. I always get confused between you and Chipmunk because you guys have similar email addresses, and I always get confused who's who. Thanks, it was you. Yeah, that video was it's a comedy video. It's not meant to be like serious, but it does bring up a point that there has been in the sort of popular TV shows over the last 30 years. You could even look back to there's probably like 50 of them that have examples of this. Marlene said, I watch shows where the actor do drugs as part of the story, but I do not think drugs are cool. Yeah, I guess. I guess. SPL said, absolutely, we should be able to distinguish between fantasy and reality, but a lot of women clearly are not. But what makes it okay to put it in a TV show? What makes it okay to portray an illegal relationship? It's almost like you are saying it's okay. Like, oh, it's okay for a 35-year-old to date a high school kid. Like, I find that interesting why that was ever okay. Kelly said, did you see the skeletal remains found in a foreclosed home? It's connected in Connecticut. It's very odd. One of them was only what? 22 years old. I didn't, but I'll have a look. Kayla said, watching Train Spotting, you will never do drugs. That movie broke my mind. I still see the baby today. Like, I still see that freaking baby now. And it hurts my mind. Like, that movie is messed up. I watched that movie when I was like 17. I've never watched it again. I probably never will. It is a messed up movie. I much prefer the other one. What's the other one called? Oh, what's it called? I much prefer Human Traffic. Human Traffic is such a great movie. It's one of my favorite UK sort of club scene drug culture movies. I love that movie. It is so good. If you've never seen it, um, you should go watch it because it's like a really like great film. There you go. So I don't know how many of you in the chat have ever watched Human Traffic from 1999, but it's a good. I love that show. Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream is also pretty gross too. Um, I don't know how much of it is believable, but geez, what's her name? Connolly. Geez, she's hot in that movie. She's a good-looking girl in that age range when she was that old. Trainspotting should qualify as horror. Yeah, it should. It was filmed near you? Ah. Yeah, it is a good movie. I like this one. It's a good one. Smoking the herb, smoking the herb. He's like doing that thing, and he thinks he's like a DJ. He's like on the dance floor, but he's in his bedroom. It's so funny. It's such a great. It's. I think this is like the opposite of Train Spotting. Like if you want sort of to show you the downsides of drug use, but also in a more lighthearted way than Train Spotting. Um, Human Traffic is a good example of it. You should go watch it if you've never watched that movie. You should go watch it. Let's see. I don't think I've ever watched Kids. I've not watched that. Yeah, I've not watched that one. Not that one. I know the movie, but I've never watched it. Sweet Universe said Requiem for a Dream gave me nightmares. Like the mum that keeps taking like the diet pills and she's standing in front of the TV and then she thinks she's part of the game show and it just repeats and repeats and repeats and it repeats. And I think it's trying to show you like drug induced psychosis, like what amphetamines can give to people in a in psychosis basically, and it showed how this like old woman got psychosis from diet pills. It's interesting movie. SP Miles said in Montana we have the best billboards for what are really? I haven't seen them. I should have a look. You like Shaun of the Dead? You know, one of my favorite movies while we're having a little break from the crime for a second. One of my favorite movies is the UK one. What's it called? 28 Days Later. It's not as funny as like Shaun of the Dead or whatever, which is a good movie. It's got Simon, can't remember his last name, but that everyone knows the actor. Um, but I like 28 Days Later. I think it's such a great insight into what would happen to London if a viral disease took over and ravaged a large city like London. Like this guy, he's a bike courier, gets gets into an accident and is in a coma. He wakes up in the hospital and this virus has ravaged London and the further world. And he wakes up out of this coma and everyone's gone. The city has been destroyed. It's really great filmmaking. The later ones are crap. They're terrible. The later ones are no good. But the first one's very, very good. Yeah, I haven't watched it. Apparently, it's not very good. They changed the whole thing about it. They changed everything, made it medieval. Not very good. I don't like it. Woman of Steel said Simon Pegg. That's it. He is a good actor. All right, let's continue. No more off topic. So yeah, Maris Nichols in court Monday. Uh, this woman might be the ultimate example of depravity of these young female teachers who are using their positions to do whatever they want. They want to have sex with a student, they just do it. They you know, just cross these boundaries without thinking about it. There really needs to be a big psychological study done by a university about why now? Why are we seeing much more female teachers engage in this type of behavior? Because the reporting has been nonstop. Like every week, I see a new one. Every week, another female teacher has been arrested. And I will say this with a caveat that male teachers are also being arrested at about the same rate, or if not more. But we already know about the male teachers who do this type of thing. The weird thing is it's the female teachers who seem to be an increasing demographic of offenders. And why? Why are these young ladies choosing to violate young people instead of like, you know, a lot of them are married. That's the weird thing about it too. A lot of them are married, have a partner. It's bizarre. It's really weird offending. It's almost like they don't get enough attention at home. So they are preying on these students who will give them the undividing attention in a warped sense of reality that they're not getting in their home. I think that may be a part of it. Oh, my husband's not, talking to me. He's not emotionally available. So I find my kicks and thrills at school. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with is why they're doing it. My link died. Hold on. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it about why you would think these teachers would risk their entire career to do it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Yeah, I'm going to take you out to Fox 5 in Atlanta. They also have a little bit of an update on it.
Now, in a major development in Douglas County, prosecutors seek to revoke bond for a former high school teacher accused of sex crimes involving students after nearly 90 alleged violations. Good Day's Caitlin Pratt is joining us now with more of these disturbing details. Caitlin.
Good morning to you, Elise. We've been following the story since May, and it keeps developing, to be honest. A Douglas County judge could soon decide whether that former Alexandra High School teacher, football coach Maris Nichols, should be sent back to jail while awaiting trial. So prosecutors are asking to revoke her bond, alleging she repeatedly violated court-ordered restrictions after her arrest on multiple charges involving alleged sex crimes against minors. Prosecutors say Nichols committed dozens of violations while on electronic monitoring and house arrest. When she was granted a $40,000 bond, a judge ordering her to stay away from the alleged victims, have no contact with minors who are not relatives, avoid Alexander High School, wear an electric monitor, remain on house arrest except for approved activities. Now, according to these filings, during a 27-day period, Nichols was accused of 38 curfew violations, 47 violations of court-approved travel restriction. Prosecutors also alleging she repeatedly traveled to locations not authorized by the court, including retail stores, fast food restaurants. Documents going on to detail an expanding investigation that detectives say began after a student first reported seeing videos on another student's cell phone. So investigators say that tip led to a broader inquiry that has since grown.
What do you guys think about teachers, whether they're male or female, having an OnlyFriends account? Do you think it's appropriate, or do you think they should be allowed to have their sort of their own private life? Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I think we did this one the other day. Is there new info? I'll cover it in a second. But yes, I want to know what you guys think. Part of the issue here was a OnlyFriends account, which was used as blackmail material for Maris Nichols in the school. Should teachers be allowed to have an OnlyFriends account and be posting explicit content to that account? Or should they have the freedom, even in their private life, to have that? Where does that align with the, amendment rights in America? Because they have freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Where does that land you? Because a lot of people would say what happens after 5 o'clock when she logs off from work shouldn't be anyone else's business but her own. But then you say, well, what if because the students always find out. It happens every time. What then? Yeah, I would like to know. I would love to know what you think. Jesse said, to be fair, I think even hormonal teenage boys would reject a 50-plus-year-old teacher. So the younger female teachers sort of make sense, even if they aren't the best looking. Well, I guess it's the only ones they have access to that are even 1% in their range. Yeah. Gail said, I actually don't know. It's their life, but you have students that should look up to you. Yeah, it is the question of where is the boundary? Is it the boundary that while you're a teacher, you can't do that? Should we be denying teachers who are poorly paid the opportunity to make more money if they choose to? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Um, can she sell feet pics? Yes, she can. OnlyFans. Well, I'd love to know your viewpoints on it as people that may have had children in a school. What if you found out your kid's teacher had an OnlyFans account where she was doing X-rated photos or videos? Would you be okay with that? Would you think, "Oh my god, I have to change school?" Like, what would you guys think? Is she supposed to teach biology and not sex? Well, maybe they go hand in hand. Maybe hand in hand is the wrong word to use here. Yeah. Look, Monday, she is back in court, and I will let you know whether that bond is revoked. But I would have questions about a judge who would let her out on bail again after she's already on over, what is it, like over $115,000 of bail with extensive protections in place that she couldn't adhere to and broke them over 85 times. I would have questions for a judge who would put her back on bail. Um, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Someone sent me a link about we talked about a youth pastor the other day that was arrested for a cold case of Bernadette Vandermeer, and that was his wife. And I'm just trying to find out why they sent me this article. Oh, interesting. There is a little bit of new information in this. Thank you for sending it to me, my friend. Yeah, I'll put a photo up. If you guys don't remember this one from the other day that we were talking about, she was pushed allegedly off a cliff by her husband, and he's accused of being involved with young people through a church youth group. And he is a senior pastor at the church at the time. His name is Vandermeer. That's his last name. His first name is David. He had been charged after the 2006 death of his wife, Bernadette, but only was charged recently. Now, I want to find out why this article. This is very interesting. According to the affidavit, he denied ever being unfaithful to his wife. Interesting. I think that's interesting when they were able to prove that pretty easily. I'm just trying to find out. Yeah. David knowingly gave misinformation to officers during interviews, stating he had never been unfaithful to his wife, which officers learned to be untrue when the person that he was being unfaithful with, they have the initials of SH. They came forward many years later after they ended up being married to David later on, and then they end up divorcing. She came forward and then told everything she knew about David, including that they were having sex while she was underage. And so that ultimately goes against any information that David told authorities. It says here David had a lot to lose if Bernadette found out about his relationship to SH. David stood to lose his job as a youth pastor at the church due to infidelity. David stood to lose his marriage to Bernadette. Based on SH's age at the time of their relationship became physical, David faced possible criminal charges and being registered as a sex offender. The investigator who compiled the affidavit against David recommended he be arrested on a no bail warrant. However, the warrant set bail at $100,000. He has not appeared in court on his first appearance as of yet, but he is being housed at the Clark County Detention Center. Interesting. Apparently, Bernadette had become suspicious that David was sleeping with someone else with the church, and Bernadette showed up at the church where SH and David were having sex, and Bernadette had become suspicious and tried banging on the door looking for David. So she was well aware, and then suddenly she falls to her death off a cliff. Yeah, that doesn't seem at all, you know, correct. So yeah, brutal. And then the insurance fraud is that he received over $500,000 after the death of Bernadette, and that he used it uh, on cars and all expenses paid trips for romantic partners after Bernadette's death. So it sounds like this guy is going to, I don't know how he's going to fight this when they have basically the woman, or actually child at the time, but a woman now. They have her testimony against him, basically counteracting everything he's ever told authorities. He's in a lot of trouble. I'm reading it, my friend. I'm reading it. They're saying U.S. Marshals arrested the youth pastor David on Monday after prosecutors charged him with murder and insurance fraud connected to his wife's death. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in here that we didn't cover. A little over 17 months before Bernadette's death in August 22nd, 2006, David took out a life insurance policy for himself and Bernadette, each worth $150,000. 8 months later, in November 2005, Vandermeer increased the policies by $400,000 each. Whoa. And then they're saying he submitted a claim for the policy in November of 2006 once his wife's death was ruled an accident. A year later, he received that $500,000 payment. So that doesn't seem not premeditated at all. So you take out an insurance policy for 150 grand, and then you bump it by almost $500,000. Yeah, that doesn't seem wrong at all. Yeah, I think he's pretty cooked. The fact that that SH person has come forward and basically counteracted everything he said is he's in a lot of problem. He's got a lot of problems. No, SH is not arrested. She is a witness. SH is a witness for the prosecution. So, ah, he bought SH boobs with that money? My God. Oh, I see what you guys are saying. But it doesn't say that in the article you sent me. I clicked on the article and I've got it in front of me, but it doesn't say that. It says here, U.S. Marshals arrested former youth pastor David Vandermeer on Monday. But it doesn't say anything about him dying. So I don't know if you sent me the wrong article or it redirects to a different article, but the article you sent me doesn't have that. That's pretty funny. It's not funny that he died, but that article doesn't have it. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you the article I clicked it from your email and put it up on the screen unless I missed it in the words here. Yeah. It does not say it. And there's the photo that I got and I put on the screen. It doesn't say it in this particular article. It does, however, if I Google his name, say it, like here on The Guardian. Yeah, let me get out of this. Hold on, guys. Former Las Vegas youth pastor dies days after being charged in wife's fatal fall. That one says it. That one says it. Look, I think that tells you everything, right? Like I was just saying, that guy was cooked. The fact that SH had come forward, he must have known that he had no way out. You are pretty screwed when your wife dies and it's a murder, and the person that you were cheating on her with and why you killed your wife to be with that person then comes forward and turns state witness. you're in a lot of trouble because they have everything. They have everything on you. So yeah, he was in a very bad position. So yeah, Las Vegas man and former youth pastor died. What? Former youth pastor died dead. I hate when people die dead. It's it's awful. Days after he was arrested and charged with murdering his wife. Wow, what an absolute pussy. Really. You're a fucking coward. You're a coward. You killed your wife 20 years ago, and the moment that you have any repercussions to what happened, you take the easy way out. What a fucking pussy that guy is. Um, yeah. Well, in my opinion, the world is not really, like, that thing where they're like, well, anyways, yeah, that's it. What's this? Okay. I can't remember what I was going to write. I got sidetracked. I got an email about a court thing on Monday, and then I forgot what I was going to write. Yeah, I can't remember. I got sidetracked, and now I can't remember what it is. It was something. I was going to write something. Now I can't remember. Sorry guys. Here, youth pastor murderer. That's what he should be known as, right? That should be his legacy. That he's a murderer. Even death a jerk. Yeah. It says he died of self-harm. Yeah. Well, how else would he die in prison? From a giant mountain lion breaking into his jail cell, maybe? Look, I am not upset with his death, really. Um, it's whatever. It really is. It's whatever. Yeah, I just have to switch this over. Give me a sec. I don't feel bad for him. He's a scumbag, and yeah, I just don't know what to tell you except for um Bernadette, though, her family deserved their day in court to face the alleged person who killed their daughter. That's the only thing lost here. The only thing lost here is that opportunity for the family to have their moment in court against the person they waited 20 years to have someone held responsible for her death. That's the only negative here. Here is his dumb face here. There is his dumb face right there. Well known in the Las Vegas yoga community, according to the information I have here. Yeah. Jesse said, I hate the state of written news nowadays. I swear they can't even use spell check. Yeah, that is the funniest thing I've ever read. How do people die dead? That's definitely written with AI. Yeah, a Las Vegas man and former youth pastor died dead days after he was arrested. That's awful. I can spell better than that, and I'm not a journalist. I'm not like a written journalist, and even I can spell and use grammar better than that. That is horrific for someone being paid $80,000 a year to churn out articles for you. But yeah, you go. He was 49, arrested on Monday on that first-degree murder charge and insurance fraud in connection with his wife's death. Um, yeah, that's what I was going to look up. Now I remember. Yeah, this is what I wanted to put up. You guys ever seen this before? I wonder if I can. Yeah, like they're like, good news, everyone. Oh no. Anyway, yeah, let's see. No, I can't get it. Like this. Oh no. And he's like, then he tilts his head. He's like, oh, anyway, let's continue. That's how I feel about his death. It's like, oh well, he had he got what he had coming to him, and as far as he's probably concerned, he got 20 more years on this earth than he should have, and he got to live 20 more years than his wife Bernadette ever did, and he took the coward's way out. And I think it shows more about who he was than anything about Bernadette or anything like that. It shows that he always was a coward. The fact that he wouldn't break off his relationship with Bernadette so he could cheat on a young girl. Instead, he killed his wife. And then when he was finally caught, after that young person grew up and realized what they had gone through during those years, she came forward, spoke to authorities. He ends up being arrested, and then he decides, oh, well, I should take the easy way out here. I should not go to court and defend myself. I should just, you know, take the easy way out. Yeah, the only person I'm sad for is Bernadette's family, that they could not have a day in court to face him for what he did to their daughter. Yeah, he did. He sort of did get away with it. He only spent like a day in jail, and then it was gone. So he got an extra 20 years on this earth that Bernadette never got. Montana says probably knew other people would come forward with more bad stuff. We had someone in here the other night that went to the school. He was a counselor at a school in Nevada, and there was someone here that went to that school, and he was a student there. So there was probably more offending. Um, SP Mama said I had to pause and catch up. Gail said if he died alive, that would be more interesting. That would be a headline. Let's see. Kelly said they praised AI so much like it was going to save the world. No, it's going to ruin it. It's definitely going to ruin young people's spelling because young people can't spell anything anymore because of AI. They don't know how to write anything, unfortunately. Well, no, he probably thought he was going to get away with it. I think that's what he thought. Gayla said, if you do the crime, be prepared to do the time. Yeah, you commit the biggest crime humans can commit to each other, which is a murder of another human being, then you gotta know that someday that debt may come knocking. And it did for David. David Vandermeer, that debt came knocking on his door, and it was all through himself. If he had never cheated on Bernadette with the young person SH, then SH could never have flipped and turned state witness against him. He would never have been arrested, and he would never have done that in a jail cell in Nevada. You can trace all of it back to his own actions. Literally everything. The reason he did that in a jail cell is because of himself, no one else. So I am not sad at his death. He is a scumbag who hurts women, and the world is a better place with him gone. Oh, why is that on the screen? There we go. He had good. Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you that he definitely had a lot after his wife died. Yep. Gail said not only killing his wife but getting money from it. Yeah, $500,000. That's a lot of money. Um, Jess said, I read this. Clark County records show Vandermeer was married and divorced 3 times since Bernadette's death. Yeah, seriously, dude. Maybe realize that you are the problem. Yeah. Well, I think he was a womanizer. I think that's his whole MO. He was a womanizer. Let me see. Let's go. What's this one here? I wanted to see if there was an update locally, like from Yeah, let's check out KLAS 8 in Las Vegas. They say shock across the Las Vegas Valley following the death of a man who was arrested just days ago in a murder case dating back nearly 2 decades. And a person locally said, I attended his classes religiously. The man that he is probably the reality of it, but the man that we knew is very different from that. Well, maybe. Another person said, at the yoga classes, he was very hands on too. He would do what we call a hand assist, and he was very respectful. He had a very calming demeanor. Okay. They say Clark County records show Vandermeer was married and divorced 3 times since Bernadette's death. And this woman said one of the women was in their classes regularly and was even used as an example for the class. It was kind of like a partnership like that. The studio knew them as a couple. This woman says she's now practicing at a different studio. However, she's still trying to process everything that has come to light. She asks, were there any signs? Not really, but sometimes that's the whole lesson here. You don't really know. That's a good point. Even people close to him didn't know of his what he'd done to Bernadette. Yeah, he was hands on. I like that. And she's like, he did what we call a hand assist. Are you sure, lady? Is that what the girls call it? Is that what the girls call it when they get a little of a hand assist? Is that is that the slang term that the girls are using these days? I I've heard it called something very different to that, but maybe that's what they call it in the yoga community. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure that's actually got something to do with yoga and not sexual relations, but it's very easy to connect the two together. All right. Well, a bit of a weird ending for that one. Yeah. Sweet Universe said hands on, I'll bet. That's right. 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 Yeah. Gaylor said one of his wives was the 16-year-old he had an affair with. Yeah, he married her years later after Bernadette died. They ended up getting back together and he married her. She's the one that ended up talking to the authorities. So half a mil, that's a lot. It's a lot for killing your wife. Jesse said, just get a divorce. Right. Just get, yeah. If you had such problems with your first wife that you had to go and kill her, why would you get married 2 other times in your lifetime? What a dumbass. SP1 said, very much like Mika Miller, but he didn't self-exit. Well, true. We all hope he would. Hands in, yeah. Very funny. All right. Let's see. What time is it? 4:30. Okay. Let's get out of here for the night, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting night. That was very funny with the article. I don't know why I didn't get the article that actually had the news of his death, but funny either way. But yeah, interesting ending after we just read about that the other night and went through the whole history and even saw a video from her family, talking about the arrest of it finally after 20 years. Well, they will just never get that day in court, unfortunately. Um, I will be back tomorrow for Friday night, and we're going to hang out, talk more cases. Hopefully, this girl, remember, if we have any people from Las Vegas, please keep an eye out for Sally Grace. Please keep an eye out for her. And if you've seen her, if you work at a store in Las Vegas and she's come in, or you sold her something, or you see her out somewhere, contact the Las Vegas Metro PD and report it because her family would like to have her home. Her family would like her to come back to Australia and, yeah, come back and be okay and in good health. Yeah. I hope so. Yes, I will. Hey, I love you all. By the way, Lisa donated tonight. I appreciate it, my friend. We need all the help we can get with the trial now on for the end of August. I took it down while we didn't know about the trial date when the trial got delayed. But now that we know the trial's in 2 months' time, we will need a little bit of help. If you can, I appreciate it. If you can't, the chat and the videos and the live streams will always be free for everyone. I don't put things behind paywalls or anything like that. So, oh, was it? Did I say the name? Hold on. I think it was Sean. I think I said Lisa, but I think it was Sean. Hold on. It was Sean. Sean, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And my friend Kathy Lynch. Kathy Lynch, I don't know what we'd do without you, my friend. I really don't. You are very, very kind. And same with Sean. Sean funded almost last year when we went to the Aaron Patterson trial. Sean funded, I think, every lunch that I had at the at the Aaron Patterson trial. I'm almost sure of it. He made sure I was kept in snacks. A lot of people were. A lot of people sent in money for snacks during the trial and for lunches. So I appreciate it. It's very kind. Um, it's going to be really busy in August. We have a ton of things to do. What did Missy want? Where is she? Where is she? I can't find her message. Huh? Where is her? Um, I can't find her message. Hold on. I want to answer it before we go. What did Missy ask? Missy, your message, whatever you are asking about, is not showing up. Oh, is it this one? Did anyone else see that 3 skeletal remains were found in a house bought at auction? Oh, okay, hold on. We'll do that before we go. All right. All right, let's have a look. So it was in Connecticut. If we go to KGW, if it'll load, yep. A mother and son have been identified as 2 of the 3 skeletons found inside a house in Connecticut bought at a foreclosure auction. That's terrible. So did their home, they knew they were going to lose the home and despair took over and they died and then stayed in the home? I hope that's not what happened. They say 2 or 3 people whose remains were found in a foreclosed home in Connecticut have been identified. The shocking discovery happened in Burlington on June 14th by the new home buyer who purchased the property as is at a foreclosure auction. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner said the remains were identified as those of Brian Cash and Sally Ann Cash. The cause of death is pending for both, and the third person is still going under DNA testing to confirm their identity. Brian and Sally have been identified as son and mother, and both have pending cause of death. Sally was listed as the property owner in town records. I reckon that's what's happened, guys. That is very sad that they lost their home due to financial issues and then decided to do that because they couldn't bear losing the family home. That's increasingly sad, that someone felt the need to go to that point.
Right now at 5 o'clock, the bones of 3 people were found inside a home in Burlington, and police said the person who found them had just bought the house. Thanks for joining us tonight on this Tuesday. I'm Tim Lammers.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is live in Burlington with the latest on this investigation
and how people nearby are reacting to this discovery. Alicia.
Annette, the homeowner bought the home as is from a foreclosure auction. They later discovered the remains of 3 people there. The people I spoke with who visit the area often say hearing something like this is terrifying.
Sounds very scary to see skeletons in a house.
Vicky Havey bikes near the area often. She says the situation is frightening. She also says she feels sorry for the 3 people and the homeowner who made the discovery.
Just sad. Very sad.
State police say troopers responded to the home on Stanwich Lane for reports of human remains found inside the home. Investigators say a new home buyer bought the home as is at a foreclosure auction. But when it was time to take a look inside, they found the skeletal remains of 3 people. Mark Chowinik bikes in the area often. He says the discovery is disturbing.
I never heard of anything like that happen anywhere that I knew about personally.
The remains have not yet been identified, and the cause of death is still unknown.
I hope that's not what happens, and I'm hoping that's not, yeah, I just hope that's not what happens to the poor people. Just terrible, isn't it? I hope that's not, yeah, like they didn't get the foreclosure notice and then died. That's, yeah, that's sad in every aspect, right? Kathy said we have to keep ping eating. I'm fat. I'm a fat guy. I'm too fat. I need to lose some weight. I did one of those what do they call it? A BMI thing, like a body mass index thing, and I'm like 5 kilos over, not into like unhealthy, but I'm just 5 kilos more than like the optimal BMI for my height and weight. Apparently. Apparently at 78 kilos, I should be 73, according to my fitness watchy thing. Yeah, it's weird. This one's strange. How long could they have been there for, though? Yeah, I'm gonna just switch you guys out to a different image, an image of the house. Hold on. I just want to find out how long they've been there for. But when did they sell the home? Like, when was the home put into foreclosure? Okay, they don't say. I'm just gonna try to get that information because the home was built in 2002 and purchased by the Cash family in 2019 for over $800,000. It was sold at a foreclosure auction for almost $300,000 less than that at $525,000. Interesting. The causes of death remain pending. However, Connecticut State Police have said there are no signs of foul play and criminal activity or ongoing danger to the public. So they bought it only in 2019 for almost $1 million. I reckon they got in underwater. They bought in and then got underwater with it. I have a funny feeling. Yeah, isn't that weird that no one noticed them missing? Did they not have friends and family? Maybe they're all the people in the home, the 3 people were the entire family. There are people like that, right? Like, there's only, like, 3 generations left, and they all live in the home together. It could have been that. Kelly said, "That's really expensive if the home sold at auction for that much." 800,000 in 2019. You know, that's just before the pandemic as well, and during the pandemic, house prices, went underwater because of everything that happened during the pandemic. So the fact that they bought high in 2019 may have meant that they couldn't afford the repayments on the home and that they were actually in negative equity by the point of getting out of the pandemic. Because if you buy on the high end of the market and then the market moves like it did during the pandemic, you can become negative equity, which means like you actually owe more money to the bank and for the home than you have equity in the home. So that may have been what happened, and they had no borrowing power with the bank to sort of like borrow out of the home loan. And it may have basically sent them to foreclosure at the end. Yeah, it's weird that no one noticed, like the bank didn't notice, like no one went in there and did a walkthrough. Like when they foreclosed on the property, did no one go in there with a set of keys or a locksmith or anything like that to secure the property? Weird, right? I think so. Because normally I would have thought there would be someone coming through to look at the property. Kelly said, so it would have to be that they self-harmed. Yeah, like a murder S word or an S word for all of them. Maybe it was like an S word pact. Like they all decided that that was what they were going to do. But maybe we'll find out. Yeah, it could have been like, gas or something like that. Carbon monoxide. Sweenover said, there's 40 of us in my family, descendants of my grand. Some people don't have families that big, though. Kelly said the son was only 22 and the woman was only 54. They weren't old, though. Yeah, but maybe something meant that they didn't have the financial stability to pay off a $800,000 home loan. Like that's pretty big for that area of America. In Melbourne, homes are like 1.4 mil. So no one's like, you know, they wouldn't bat an eyelid at $800,000. But in this area of Connecticut, I wouldn't think that homes routinely sell for 800 grand. Maybe they just overextended and couldn't afford it anymore. Or maybe the son killed the family. But they said there was no obvious signs of violence. So how did it happen then? Um, Kathy said, how can a watch tell you your BMI? It's one of those like, what do they call it? Like a Fitbit thing. And it can tell you based on what you put in there. Kelly said, who's the third person? I'm really wondering. But it could have just been a family member that they're not aware of. Like, what if the son had a girlfriend that they're not aware of? Or maybe there's an auntie or an uncle that was living with them, but they're just not on any of the paperwork for the property. I don't know. Or what happened, actually, if you want to go full true crime, Kelly, maybe it's a burglar. And the burglar broke in the middle of the night, shot and killed the homeowners. No. And then killed himself. No, I don't think so. They said there's no violent, like they couldn't notice anything that would suggest that they died in a violent way. Yeah, I just saying like, could it be a girlfriend of the 22-year-old? Could it be a family member? Like here, police state there are no signs of foul play or criminal activity. So you're not looking at like a gunshot. You're not looking at like a crime involving a knife or something like that. So you got to look at things that oh they say here that the bodies were skeletonized though. How would you know if there was no gunshot or a knife involved if the people are skeletonized? Interesting. There's some problems here. Cause of death, the third person is undergoing DNA testing. The third person is undergoing DNA testing to confirm their identity. That tells me that I think they know who it is, but they can't verify it. So I think they may know who the third person may be. That's why they're just doing the DNA testing to find out, is their assumption on who it is correct? Yeah, Brian and Sally have been identified as mother and daughter. I mean, mother and daughter, mother and son. Is there a photo of them? No photo of them. I was hoping to find like a photo of mum and dad, mum and. Here's the property, by the way. It's huge. Look at their little car garage. It's a big property. Let's see. Anything about who else it might be. Yeah, son 22, mum 54. Huh. Sally owned the home with her husband, Paul. Where's Paul? Maybe Paul is the third person? Yeah, Sally Cash owned the home with her husband, Paul, court records show. Until the home was placed in foreclosure and auctioned off, Brian Cash was the couple's son. I gotta think that it's Sally Cash, her son Brian, and her husband, Paul. It's gotta be. They're not saying that Paul is alive anywhere and has come forward. The mortgage had not been paid since December of 2024, and the utilities had been off for months, according to the attorney appointed to conduct the auction and court records. The home sold at auction for $525,000, about $300,000 below the bank appraisal. There you go. The remains were found on June 14 after the home had been subject to the auction. But yeah, there is a third outstanding person, Paul. So it's Sally, Paul, and the son, Brian. Most likely that's who it's going to be. Because we have not heard that there's a Paul running around anywhere. Kelly said, so maybe that's Paul. So then it was yeah, I'm thinking maybe like something like a murder S word. Like murder S word, S word. Like a double S word murder. That's what I think. Green, Marlene said, Green Pond looks like they have been dead a while. The pond is in bad condition, right? Does not look good. Gayla said, not me thinking the house came with Halloween decorations. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going on, Kelly. The fact that there is no other person called Paul and that person has not come forward looking for their son, their wife, anything like that. Now we just need to find out how they died. How did they die? Was it a murder S word? Something like that. But yeah, no mortgage had been paid since December of 2024. So I'm guessing they died sometime around then, sometime around 2024, which would explain about 2 years to go through the foreclosure process. But the fact that no one went and looked at the home, no one, like no one walked in, secured the property, had a locksmith come out, anything. It's crazy that they could sit there for that long and no one saw it. Oh yeah, they could have drank something. Yeah. Well, it could be. They just said no violent crime. They didn't say there was no foul play, did they? I think they just said no violent crime. Is that what they said? Hold on. Let me check. No signs of foul play. That just means no obvious signs, but they're skeletons. You're going to have to wait for the forensics to have a look at that. Because if it's a knife or even a bullet, it may not show up now that the bodies have gone through decomposition. So it may not be immediately obvious to whoever was looking at the scene of the bodies that there was some sort of like, gun or knife, poison, who knows? Tomorrow night, we have another story about a poisoning, though. I have another story about a poisoning for you tomorrow night. It is a bit weird, right? It is a bit weird. Thanks, Sean. Tell them. Yeah, Sean says 20 people did not hit the like button. Hit that like button, please. Don't be one of the 20 people who did not do it. Carolina said CO2 poisoning. Could be. That's what I was saying before, like carbon monoxide. It could have been something like that. Yeah, if it's sold as is, you get everything, including the bodies. You get everything, including the 3 people that are dead. Um. All right. All right, let's get out of here. It is late, almost 5 p.m. local time. I love you all. I'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate all of you. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, you should do that too. All right, let me check something before we go. Hey, I love you all. Thank you to Kathy. Thank you to Sean. Thank you to the people who, if you did a super chat or something like that, I appreciate it. Hey, Joe, what's up, brother? I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Have a great Friday. Bye.